Bonjour, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of My Outfit Totally Doesn't Match at all. The closest thing I got matching is my hat and the red flannel. Hola, Mike. Brad, how's it going? Also, as is becoming tradition now, we have gone live early. It's getting earlier and earlier. It was like, a minute, maybe two. Now we're pushing up on 6. Though, I guess if I ever want to make like a 6-minute long AI theme song for the stream, at least by the time it is to stream, the song will be done. Bearded Printer, how's it going this morning, brother? I got to spend some time in your neck of the woods yesterday. So, on last week's episode of As the Garage Turns, this thing, no, I don't have my iPad up. Let's bring up the iPad. This thing, I call it a switch wire. You may call it other things. Was having some issues. We were trying to put clipper on it, and that cube. We're having issues with Raspberry Pi OS version 13 Trixie. So after stream, stuck the SD card in there that we made with Bookworm. Added everything, works flawlessly with the last version of Raspberry Pi. Now we do have some other issues though that led me to opening up Fusion 360 and going, all right, let's jump in the deep end. If you can see right here on the gantry, you may notice a piece and go, well, that's weird. That doesn't go there. And I'm pretty sure that that wasn't made for like self-tapping threads, just to screw into that part for no reason. Well, because the way things are on the Jabberwocky tool head, this blue part here is the mount for a cartographer. There's a screw that goes up right here. You've got your belts right here, and then you've got your screws to screw cartographer on here. So there's no place to put an end stop switch in here to bump up against your XZ joints. Sorry, took me a minute to say that. Used to say it XY. So just to test to see if it would work right, I screwed right into that part, and I was like, okay, is that going to be my permanent fix, or is it not going to be my permanent fix? Oh, also, let's bring up our sponsors. We haven't mentioned those. This build's brought to you by LDO, who kindly sponsored the filament for this, and the Jabberwocky toolhead. Thanks to Jason for that. And Fabrico, who sent over a whole crap ton of parts because I was short a whole bunch of the little things that just nickel and dime the crap out of you. Like Gates belts that you're like, oh, it's just belt. And then you go buy belt for your printer and you're like, oh crap, I need $40 just to buy belts. Bearings, the same thing. You're like, okay, bearings not too bad, but then you're like, oh crap, I need 20 of them. All of a sudden, I need, $40 to $80 in bearings. So little things like that that really, really get you when you're self-sourcing a printer. and you think you're like almost done. You're just like, I just got the little things left. I've got all the big things. And then you realize, but you need so many of these little things that cost $1 that all of a sudden you're spending another $400 in little things. That's how you end up, like I did, having 80% of a Trident, and all I needed was, you know, screws, screw kit, all of a sudden $100, right? Well, not really, like 60 to 80. I need all the screws and stuff. I needed the Z steppers, and I needed a bed and a power supply. And by the time I was done adding all that crap up, like, it makes more sense to just go buy a FormBot kit, harvest a couple things that I need out of it, and sell the rest of it. Or, like I was going to do, build a Tridex out of it. But I ended up selling all the extra stuff, and that's what funded all the cameras to do this stream stuff. Yes, so got everything going, and we've got, let's just turn it on and I'll show you. What could be better than a demonstration, right? Yeah, the end stop is not pretty. I don't know if it's going to be more pretty by the time we're done, but, you know, we're working on it. So, as you see, we've got some LEDs going. Where can I put my stuff at? And I thought I'd turn this iPad on. I was running late because I made the thumbnail and everything and scheduled the stream out for an hour. I'm like, all right, I gotta go jump in the shower, grab something to eat. I was getting in the shower. I'm like, you know what? I should probably cut my hair. It was getting a little crazy. So, haircut. And by the time all that was done, I was like, running out of time. I guess I did go early, so I guess I did have, you know, another 6 minutes. Yeah. So let me make this bigger. Let me connect this and bring you down here to look at what we've got going on. So here's our dashboard, right? We got a clipper. And we go in here to our printer config. And we go down to Safe Z Home. And I'm just going to comment all this out for a minute. Save and restart. I like physical end stops too. But somehow in my latest few builds, I haven't had that option. The V0 had no option for physical end stops, so that's sensorless. The Trident, I have end stops on, but holy shit, has been a task to make sure that they stay, that one keeps end stops on it. The 2.4 had end stops, but when I went to the PPS CF gantry, you can see where eventually there's going to be a way to put the end stops on that, but because I got that gantry so far before release, you can tell that because it's still not been released, and I got it over a year ago, that there's no end stops on it currently. There probably are mods to put the end stops on the V0. And then the Micron has sensorless homing, which has been the bane of my existence. Again, you can see where there's the intention was to add end stops to it. But it didn't exist yet. And then I get over here to the Jabberwocky, and there's no way to put an X end stop on the Jabberwocky. So, I don't know if you guys find yourself in this situation often, but I sure as hell do. Damascus, welcome to the stream, bud. The do-enders are sensorless and a pain in the ass. So I don't know if you guys find yourself in this situation often, but I sure as hell do. I'm building things that you would think, hey, several people have done this. And then it turns out you're wrong and you're the first one to do it. And then you've got to kind of figure it out as you go. And then you're doing it in some weird way or something like that. Or even if you think you're not, you think you're doing it in a pretty normal way. So it takes a lot longer to get through something. No, they never got here, Brad. I even checked my email this morning because it like shows you pictures of everything that's getting delivered on that day. And nothing yet. The closest thing I get to documenting anything, Mike, is this live stream. Five totes of cables this week. Expect some power cables headed your way. Awesome. I still need one. I need one for the NG build. My list of what I needed for it got erased. My daughter wanted to do something on the whiteboard. Yeah, no, it's no worries. I need to flip this whiteboard over so that the cracked piece is on the top. And then rotate it around. Yeah. Anyway. Started a bomb list. Yeah. So here we go. Demonstration time. I think this is right. We're gonna go ahead. As you see, this end stop's not actually hooked up to anything. You can tell that because the other end's not plugged into anything. Okay. So let's get this out of the way. Let's bring you over here. That's the wrong button. So we'll hit home and yikes. Oh, that's right. That's right. Because I was trying to get it to work, I switched this driver strength. All right. You felt that in Colorado? Yeah, a bit of an earthquake. That's okay though. That's okay. We're back now. Let's try it again. Nice. Let me bring it over here so you can actually see it, because we switched cameras. Disable steppers. We'll bring this over. And nice, peaceful homing of X. Right? But here's the problem with the switch wire. Okay? So let's disable this. One, I don't know if you could see it or not, but there's some little metal pins back here that can, when this is all the way down, potentially hit the cartographer. Now they shouldn't. It's like 1 millimeter of clearance, but that's way too close for me. And also, if this is all the way down like this and it just homes across, now you've got a really scratched up freaking bed. So the way that is dealt with, just like a lot of your other printers, is you raise Z first. But here's where the problem comes in. Because it's Core XZ, my X stepper that I'm homing with is involved in the raising of the gantry. So it creates a situation where it doesn't home. So if we go back into the printer config and we go back down here to the safe Z. Now I've tried homing overrides too, and homing overrides get really weird because then the tool head tries to home in the opposite direction for some reason, and no matter what I do, I cannot get that to see. I've tried a couple different homing overrides. Here's one. That was an old one. Here's a homing override. All right, just set the Z position to 0, set it to absolute position, go up on Z 5 millimeters, home X and Y. I've tried switching this to X250. I've tried just G28X, G28Y, because when I type them in, it works fine, but it doesn't work fine when it's running this macro for the homing override. So then we went to Safe Z Home, which is around here somewhere, I am sure. Safe Z Home, yes. Home on the range. And then Z Hop, distance to lift Z prior to homing. Z Hop speed. Honestly, we could make that a lot faster because this is Core XZ. So I can move Z as fast as I can move any other axis. But we go to save and restart. And oh, you guys weren't looking at my monitor that whole time. Oops. Anyway, so I've added that Safe Z Home back that we commented out earlier. And if I do home X, it goes up and then thinks it's homed. It thinks it is homed X. Here it is. There it is. It thinks it homed it. And it's because you used the X stepper in the movement of Z. So anyway, thus the return of the physical end stop switch. And I got to test out some of my fusion skills. Actually, let's not call them skills. I don't think they qualify as skills. Anywho, so here's the part we made. Huh? Looks just like that, but it's got a home for the end stop switch. I think I got the little holes to run some self-tapping screws okay. It's 10 millimeters taller than the standard one, so we have to switch to M5 by 40s and an M5 by 20. And then it's got a little hole right here for the wires to come out and then go through the top of the extrusion and then fold over out of the extrusion and run the normal path that you would run your wires if you had drag chains. So now we get to see if all this works. Now I'm gonna need to clean this up in there where that bridging didn't turn out great for some reason. But we get to see. I need to go get batteries for my calipers too. So I didn't even have my calipers to do this with. I was working with just a little pocket scale. I'm sure that a lot of folks would be able to make this a lot better, do a lot more with it. But if it works, I'm going to be really happy. I mean, I've tinkered with Fusion. I use Fusion 360 to design all the shelves that all my soldering stuff is on. So it's not like I've never used it before. All right. Let's see first and foremost if a switch fits in here. And holy shit, the switch fits. The switch fits. And she's nice and snug in there too. I guess we'll get to see if the holes line up. All right, let's go back over here. Let's get our switch off. So yeah, yes, I spent most of the day yesterday fighting my way through this situation with the homing. I've still got some other stuff we need to install, but I got to cartographer stage and trying to set that up and noticed that we had some homing issues. So that kind of just paused my progress with the clipper install. All right, so there we go. Goodness gracious, come here. Just stop it. So we're going to feed these wires through here. Oh. I should have made that hole a little bit bigger. I think it would be all right if I cut these ends off and then put the ends back on once we get it to where it's going. This is also not a thermistor. All right, so let's see. Let's do one at a time. There's one wire. Yeah, I need to make this hole a little bit bigger next time. Oh, come here. There we go. All right. So, there's our switch. Now, I want to put a lever on that. You got your stealth changer mostly assembled. Now it's time to start configuration. Yeah. So for some people, the electronic side of it is the easy part for them, and the physical building of the thing is the hard part. But I am definitely the physical building part is the easy part for me, and the software aspect of it is the hard part. Holy shit, it's screwing in. It's screwing in. Means I think the holes are lined up. I think those holes are lined up, folks. I can't turn that. Hot shit. Look at that. Holes are lined up. I'm extremely happy with that. Yeah, I got this done in Fusion last night. Put it in the slicer, sliced it, hit print. Never even watched it to see if it started okay. Just went to bed. The only thing I did was look to see if it had spent, 2 hours making spaghetti when I woke up this morning, but I hadn't pulled it off the bed or anything to check any of it. Oh. So, let's not get too cocky. It's not on the printer yet, but it's a good sign. All right, power, shut down, accept. So, let's talk for a second. Any cubic keeps knocking prints off the bed. This is no bueno. Yesterday, I returned that power supply, and it would not let me. It didn't give me the option to put the money back on my card. It only gave me the option for Amazon credit. That means I have Amazon credits equal to the cost of buying 2 of the 120 millimeter blower fans for the side curtain cooling on the NG. What do you guys think? My thing is, that's my favorite form of cooling. Actually, at some point, I want to do a printer. Like, I want to build a Trident with the arch type tool head, the version that doesn't have any cooling on the tool head at all. It just uses side curtain cooling. That's what I want to do for tube, full-blown tube at some point. The channel makes enough money. At some point, I want to buy a full tube, do the arch type tool head with no cooling ducts, and the only cooling on the entire printer is auxiliary side curtain cooling. That's what I want to do. But what do you guys think? You think I should get use the funds to buy those blower fans? Yeah, I half want to do it just to shut some people up. Oh, nice. I even use them on high speed printing when I'm printing fast. I think I'm going to get them. Also, Saturday, we have the filament for the Mammoth Greg inbound from Dan over at West 3D. Shout out to West 3D for sponsoring the filament for that build. 8 rolls of filament for a Nerf Blaster build. It's a pretty big investment. And I wasn't expecting it totally free. He said he was going to work with me on the price. Like, you know, give it to me better than I could get it otherwise. But ended up just sending it to me fully sponsored. So, 1, I was floored. 2, thank you. That's awesome. And thanks to Fabrico and LDO Motors. I've had some sponsors be very good to me, and I am endlessly appreciative of them. And those of you that are channel members may got a sneak peek for the thumbnail and some hints for who's sponsoring some giveaways in that. So there's a channel in the Discord that's members only, and I posted up the thumbnail for the upcoming celebration stream on the 22nd. Havoc PLA. There's some places on blasters that you can do other materials, but PLA is your best bet because it's actually so it's harder than ABS is. It's a harder material. So if you've got something like your sear or something trying to grab onto it, ABS will over time round over and whatnot, where PLA is going to be more resistant to that. Let's get some drivers. JPP in the house. You are supposed to drop by for a visit on Saturday. Yeah, the girls are all going camping with the old lady's family. But somebody's got to stay here and watch the dogs. And that somebody's me. And let's face it, I'm not in a position where putting up a tent and sleeping on the ground would be a great idea. JPP, what part did I do in Fusion? We did this. We're getting ready to install it. But the switch fit perfect. The holes lined up perfect. chili sounds good. I might make chili. Because that's one of those things that I can make the day before. And then we can just heat up. All right. Let's turn this off. Go over here. Yeah, chili sounds good. As long as you like spicy food, Mike, because that's the other thing with chili. I can't ever make the kind of chili I like because the girls don't care for stuff to be very spicy. So their idea of chili is more like tomato soup with meat and beans in it, if you ask me. I make fun of the old lady. I tell her she could eat a spoonful of sugar and tell me it was spicy. But I sympathize with people that don't like spicy stuff. I didn't like spicy stuff when I was a kid. It wasn't until I became an adult that I found an enjoyment for spicy things. All right. So now these are all loosened up. Yeah, I don't make it crazy spicy. Here's my thing with hot stuff, okay? You've got a line, right? Where above this point, you are no longer adding any flavor to a dish. You're just making it hot for the sake of being hot. And then eventually you get to the point where it just tastes like chemicals. I very much prefer stuff that's spicy for the flavor. Once you've gotten to the point where it is so hot that it is not enjoyable, there's a problem. If you're like, man, this is hot, but damn, it tastes good, and you want to keep eating it, you're in the right ballpark. If you're like, yeah, this is hot, it's not worth it, you've done something wrong. All right, let's undo this. Now, again, that's just my personal opinion. Everybody's going to have their own. You know, this is America. You have the right to have the wrong opinion. Who am I to say anything about it? All right, so here's our old one. Now, here's our new one. I need to go get M5 by 40. Two of those. And an M5 by... do I not have M5 by 20s? I have M5 by 25 and M5 by 16. Huh. Yeah, M5 by 16 is definitely not going to reach. I don't have an M5 by 20. M5 random. What length is this? Here's a 20. Is this a 20? I'd much prefer a silver one. Yeah, there we go. Perfecto. I need to get another one of these screw organizers. All right, here we go. 20. And then $40 and another $40. And let's get our bearing stacks on here. Half the reason why I use a cutting mat is because I can't pick anything up off of a flat surface. I just scoot it over to the edge and then I'll be able to grab a hold of it. All right, now let's see. That one goes there. This one goes underneath. We lost one of our washers, folks. We lost the other one. There we go. There's a washer. Put that in there. That tightened on there. There we get a big driver. They're just tightening in the plastic, so you don't want to over torque those. Get that one torqued in right. Now, will this come over? Hit that and not interfere with anything else? Yeah. Beautiful. So the cardo mount doesn't have a little hole in it on the back, right below the little hole. It does line up nicely. Yeah. It's one of those things that I talked to Digimatic on stream about when we were putting this together, if you remember. And I talked to him again last night. Nobody else is running a cartographer, right? So there's like a clicky switch for the Jabberwocky that everything's like built in and whatnot. That has an XN stop you could use, but I can't use that with cartographer. And because he's not running cartographer, his switch wire's set up for sensorless homing, but it doesn't need to lift the Z. And technically, it's one of those things that as long as I paid attention and as long as the keyback was doing its job, it would never be an issue. You know, if it happened to be down on the bed, I just lift it up a little bit before I home it. But let's be honest, it only takes one accident to have that go wrong. I've destroyed printers because I accidentally sent a file to the wrong printer and had a part still sitting on it, and it tried to home into a part that was still on the printer because I accidentally sent it to the wrong printer. Yeah, you're good for Core XY for end stop switches. That's not an issue. All right. Let's grab our belt tensioning doodad. It's 1.8. Two 2.1. 2.3. 2.5. Oh, 2.65 or so. All right. Oh, excuse me. Anybody watch the new show on HBO, Return to Derry, the It TV show last night? We watched it. Oh, I'm getting like 2.9. It was all right. I can see that it's got some potential for the show. I wouldn't call it scary, but I wouldn't call many of the horror type movies scary. The movies that bother me are the ones where it's realistic, like, and involve kids. Yeah, check it out. It's interesting. What's the reason? Oh, how will I route it? How I'm going to route the cable? So it's going to come right over here. And then, let's see. I needs about cut there. So this is just oh, here's the camera. 2020 profile covers. Not use that side because that went wrong. There we go. 2020 profile cover right here to hold that wire in if the stuff wouldn't break. All right, so we're gonna have to print this out of something else, but then it's going to go right here where your wires used to go if you had a drag chain. We're gonna get the zip tie. One moment, please. Okay. And we're back. Luke, how's it going? So, yeah. Here, let me move this stuff out of the way. Why do I have a bag for film? And then I can show you some of the stuff on the overhead. All right, Bill. So the wire's coming in here, and then right back here is where your wires would normally get tied down to on your normal switch wire build. And then it's going to get routed around and through the drag chain and down into the bottom, just like you would all your wires normally. But I got to put a piece of 2020 extrusion cover here just to kind of hold the wire in place. Just got off some meetings. Need to grab some snacks. Excellent. I think it's Pop Secret. Makes a caramel popcorn, microwavable caramel popcorn. It's fantastic. It's the first one that I've had that's actually like good, tastes like it's supposed to, isn't burnt. What if I print these this extrusion stuff in the other orientation and just put a brim on it, since I don't need it to be very big. Prepare. I don't need this. I just need this part. Set it down like this. Scale it. And see, how big do I need this thing to be? .45 millimeters. Brim. Slice. Oh, hold on again. There's my daughter again, asking for money for the book fair. Cody, how's it going? Work. I'm truly sorry that you have to go back to work, Mike. Let's transfer the brim. Slice the plate. Print, upload, and print. Yeah. We were looking the other day, parent-teacher conferences, and there wasn't much there. And I don't really have any money to give her at the moment, so. We did find a whole bunch of pajamas on clearance at Walmart for the girls for like $3 a set for some pajamas. So they both got a bunch of pajamas over the weekend. All right. So we got another extrusion cover printing. I'm just trying to clear all this stuff out of the way. Because it's a mess that I can't function with. Yeah, it is. Half the time I give them book fair money, they come back with a pencil and a poster or some crap. All right. After this stream, I really need to get another load of laundry going. That's why my outfit is so discombobulated right in this second. It's because this was the last pair of jeans in the closet. These are normally my work on cars and stuff jeans. I don't care if they get all messy or anything. All right. Let's unplug this so I can just kind of rotate this around. All right. So now we've got our wire. Bring it over here. Bring up a few notches on this drag chain. And then start popping this drag chain open. All right. The wires fell back out. So we'll do that again. One wire, two wires. All right. And then these will go back out down here. Just like so. Close this drag chain back up. Getting bored soldering connectors. What connectors are you soldering, Mike? All right. And then these wires need to go down into here. All right. And then we'll give ourselves a couple extra inches. Because who doesn't like having a couple extra inches, you know what I mean? And get our strippers. See, now we got a couple extra inches and a stripper. Is, you know, it's a good day. Some crimps. Where's the crimps? The crimps. 25-way D sub connectors. Oof. Yeah. Here in a minute, we're going to stick a couple extra inches in something too. It's going to be great. Later, Death Cube. It did. I normally just kind of bury my sense of humor and the random things that run through my head when not in the privacy of my own home. And I get to see how many times I can make my my teenage daughter turn red. It's hilarious. It's like every other teenager, thinks they are the first person to have a dirty mind. And And she gets to realize that's not so. There we go. All right, remove the sensorless jumper on there. All right. So let's put this back. Go figure out what the X end stop pin is. I definitely don't think that looks bad, though. That looks pretty good. Low Sync, how's it going? Exactly, Brad. That's right. Oh, look, there's a mode button on the back of this thing. There's nothing in the instructions for that. I have to look that up. There's a mode button on the back of this camera. Yeah, right back here. All right, let's plug this in. Fire up. I do like the way the LED looks on this Jabberwocky. I like that. Self-destruct? Maybe. Whatever. All right, now we'll go in here. Machine. Go to the X. We'll comment out this. Actually, we're just going to comment out all this one. We're going to go with the old one. There we go. And then we need to go over and find back to docs. Software configuration for that. The end stop pin. Save and restart. Let's see if it triggers. Triggered, not triggered. Triggered, not triggered. All right. No, no. I want this. Gotta resize this. Put that right there. There we go. Now you can see that and the monitor at the same time. It's fancy. Let's home X, see what happens. That worked. Do I have Safe Z Home turned on? I do. All right, so if I disable this, bring this tool head back over here. And we'll hit home all and see what happens. Keep our hands on the e-stop. All right, I got a little nervous there, but it didn't actually hit. But why is it homing in not the right spot? Machine. Printer config. I probably did math wrong. Let's go down here to Safe Z Home. Yep, 125. Save and restart. All right. Home all again. Lifts, homes, homes. Hey, look at that. It's homing right. Now, if I take this Y to the max. That's 235. So it's actually homing at let's call that let's call that 240. All right, Y and max position and stop position. 240 position max. 240. Save and restart. You rewired your truck. Yeah, it was moving fast towards that bed. Switch wires move fast in the Z, and it can be a little nerve-wracking. You just got a machine gun that has had gremlins for 6 months. Awesome, dude. That's always nice when you finally get something fixed. Appreciate you sharing the good luck with us, man. All right, now here's the one thing that does bother me. If you notice, this bed sticks way out, so we will need to get another a Prusa build plate at some point, but this will work for now. So if I go back over here to the dashboard, we do a home all. And that's actually lined up pretty good with where the actual build plate is. Let's take X to okay, so we need to make some notes. All right, so B switch. The depressor starts at X15. And then is fully engaged at X7. So I need to move this depressor in. The factory sent this chiller out with the wrong transducers. Awesome. Yeah, that would cause an issue, I'm sure. All right. Those are worthless. All right. I'm hoping that this wears itself in some, because that's not wanting to pop back out. 17. Okay, that's 15. And then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. It stops at X2. All right, we'll need that for later when we set up the cutting and stuff like that. But also, I need to enter that in in the slicer config as an exclusion area, so that it doesn't let you put any parts in that area. All right. So we have a half hour left before I've got to go. Do you guys want to start working on the enclosure, or do you guys want to go and work through some more config stuff? Which do you want to do? Config? All right, config it is. You want to go home and have rum? That would be good too. All right, so here we go. go to cartographer. All right, we've done clipper. We've done the scan calibrate. All right, now we gotta do the touch calibration. So, here, home, console, paste, home X and Y. And then go cartographer touch calibrate. It's going to sit here and run through a bunch of stuff and test a bunch of thresholds to find where the nozzle touches the bed versus where the sensor thinks home is. Cartographer configuration has changed since I did the micron. We'll clean up while it does that. So, I'm really excited about my first Fusion printer part working out. Yeah, it's, I think it turned out well. I think it looks good. It works just the way I wanted it to. Everything fit perfect. Can't ask for much more than that. Morning, how's it going? It is working. Right now it's calibrating the cartographer probe. So here's my pro tip for life. Okay, if you don't have yourself a good notebook, go out and get yourself one. It was first iteration. Originally I had the wires coming out the top when I was first doing it, but after I exported and looked at it, I was like, no, I need the wires to come out the sides. So I immediately went in and did that, but this is the first one I printed out or anything like that. But go get yourself a notebook, regardless of what size it is. Moleskine makes really nice notebooks. Walmart has their own version, but try to get yourself one that has one of these bands to hold it closed and one of the ribbons to like mark what page you're on, or where you're like referencing back to, and a good pen. And for under $10 investment, it'll change your life. I used to carry one of the waterproof notepads, these, the Write in the Rain all-weather notepads. And that's when I was doing construction. Like, here's notes for 212 Guilford Street. How many switches and three-ways and outlets and keylesses and breaker box stuff and service lines. And I was doing 2871 East 9th. A list of what breakers I needed and how many. But yeah, it will change your life. Just being able to always have a notebook on you. I need to get a new one that I can keep in my pocket. I thought I got one. Wait a minute. Did I get one? I might have gotten one. Please stand by. Yes. There's just a little one. Is this big enough to get in my pocket? It is. Fit in my pocket. And then, what is this? 3/8 thread, 90-degree high flow air coupler, gauge, extension cord ends, shopping list. This one has perforated pages too. List of, oh, that's right. I was going to do an Iron Man suit with the school for their STEM program, and then they decided they didn't want to do it after I had it lined up for filament to be donated, printers to be donated, set up for media coverage, the whole 9 yards. Sponsored. They've got two Ender 5s over there. They're enclosed ones. And I lined up to get them, I think, 2 new printers and a new Voron. Can't remember what printers bed slingers they were, but 2.4, a crap ton of filament, like sponsors not just for this project, but to provide the school with all their stuff. And then they backed out of it and said no thank you. Pissed me off. How are you going to say no thank you to what would have amounted to like over $5,000 worth of stuff right off the rip? Plus a company going, we're going to sponsor whatever filament you need for your for your class, your robotics, your engineering, whatever you need, we're going to take care of. And they said, no, thank you. No, that's all right. We'll just use taxpayer money to pay for it instead. This was not last school year, but the school year prior. All right, so we've got save config, save, excellent. Now, what do we do now? What do we do now? Print start template. So we need cartographer touch home.
Ready? We still gotta get her out of school.
I know, but that's her appointment's at 2 o'clock.
What?
No, it's at 2.
Pen.
I see that. All right, I love you. Yeah, no. So the company that was going to sponsor them, I don't know. There's no reason to keep it secret because they were doing a good thing. So Sunlu was the one that was going to sponsor a couple of they have I don't know if they still have them or not, but they had some like bed slingers, and then they were going to sponsor the filament. And I was looking at going to school for electrical engineering, and they're like, if you get in there, you know, let us know, and we can work with them for whatever programs they have. You know, they were looking to expand out into colleges and get into like education fields and stuff like that. They weren't interested. You know, originally the discussion was about, you know, sponsoring the channel, but that was over 2 years ago, and the channel wasn't much at the time. So they weren't interested in that, but they were absolutely interested in, you know, working with the schools and stuff like that. But I don't know. And they hide backup files. They don't do much with their 3D printers and stuff like that. And they have like robotics competitions and stuff, but their STEM teachers aren't comfortable with them and don't really know how to use them. And I've offered to, hey, let me know. I'll come in. I can work with you guys, you know, do your after school stuff, your after school robotics clubs and stuff. Come in, help out. You know, I can, you know, teach the kids stuff with the 3D printing, teach the teachers, whatever. Nope, not interested. All right, so we need to go here. That's another thing we need to wire up. That's the last thing we need to wire up is the case lights. Bed mesh calibrate adaptive equals 1. Huh? Z offset, baby. I think we just inserted the cartographer touch channel. Yep. All right, now what we need to do is because we don't have the enraged rabbit carrot feeder on here right now. Let's comment out this stuff. Because this is all for the enraged rabbit carrot feeder. Which we'll get to. That's going to be a build coming up. It's probably what we're going to be doing for a large amount of the time between now and the NG build. Bring our purge line back. And then we're going to We don't need to eject the filament in our print end. There we go. Save and restart. All right. I might have got somebody really worried. But here's the thing, I'm not certified to be a teacher. Cody, I avoid that by avoiding PETG. Now, so there's a couple things you can do for that. You might benefit by lowering your extrusion multiplier some, because it's likely coming across and just picking up material. So it might be laying down too much material, and then when it comes back by or over top of it, it's sticking up a little bit and grabbing it. Also, check and make sure that your nozzle isn't tilted a little bit and causing it to, in reference to your bed, causing it to kind of act as a plow and pick up material. Especially if you notice that the material builds up only on one side of the nozzle mainly. How do you like that sliced nozzle paint? I've looked at that before. I need to order some of their the thermal paste stuff at some point. Well, let's plug in the iPad. JPP, welcome back. How often do you find yourself having to replace that? Okay, so we've got cartographer set up. Holmes, it does all that. Oh, we need to do some PID tuning. So let's go over here to the dashboard, disable all the steppers, raise this up, and let's do PID calibrations. That's not too bad, depending on how much you're printing. Let's go. Initial setup. Verify temperatures. They look like they're about the same. Okay. Dashboard. Verify heaters. Guess we get to turn these on and see if they start heating up. Well, the nozzle heated up extremely quickly. That's awesome. And the bed's heating too. Good. Copy. PID tune the bed. This is going to take a minute. How's it going, Raj? So, these Prusa beds take a while to get all the way up to temp. Also, this thing, freaking awesome. Amazing. Thank you. I love it. I like the fact that I don't have to hit a button to switch it between, you know, tightening and loosening. So I'm not going to tighten something and, oh crap, I forgot it's in loosening mode, or go to loosen something and it's in tightening mode and I strip something out. I love that thing. Absolutely love it. Working on your core one? Nice. SVO6, yeah. So Saval really pissed me off. So for a while, and I was a member of a community that spent a lot of time helping brand new folks to 3D printing. And there was a couple people that wanted to try their hands at doing a clipper printer. And the SVO6 was what I kind of recommended to people. And they got him and then proceeded to have a lot of issues. For whatever reason, they were not capable of going very fast at all. Like, they started losing steps at like 2000K acceleration. And people were getting mad. They're like, I did all this because I wanted a fast printer, and I'm putting clipper on it and end up with a printer that doesn't print any faster than it did before. But I've invested money into pies and new controller boards, and I don't want to just keep sinking money into this. I don't want to have to buy new steppers too. And like, you know, at first I kind of balked just at the idea of spending $50 on a Raspberry Pi or more, because I was back during the Pi shortages when it was really hard to even get one. And you know, I'm still really good friends with the couple guys that we went through it, but that burned me on recommending anything to anyone. I will tell you what I know about something. I will tell you my experience with something, but I will not tell you to go buy something. I will tell you that, as I understand it, this is probably your best bet for whatever situation it is. But those guys, they asked, hey, what do I need to buy? And I gave them a shopping list, and they went and bought it. I spent their money for them. And I was half responsible for even talking them into doing like clipper and stuff. And now those guys are using bamboos, and one of them's got like Creality K1 he bought, and they're way happier with those. And so now that kind of burned me. With you guys, you kind of know what you're getting into. You understand the hobby a little bit, so it's a little bit easier. But to tell somebody who's brand new what to do, and then it doesn't work out like perfect out of the box, that's a problem. And they didn't realize going into it what kind of a project they were even getting into. Yeah. Now, I'm still an admin in that community, but I'm not doing anything. The community is very much shifted to most of the people that come in. They've gotten themselves a bamboo of some sort, and they're trying to learn how to use slicers, and they're wanting to print, you know, whatever. And when they run into problems, I don't have the experience with bamboos to really help them a whole lot. I can get to a certain point, and then it's very much a bamboo issue, and I don't know any of that stuff. Like, I try to help in general, and I got frustrated, and the other people were getting frustrated that I was trying to help. So I just kind of walked away from it, said, hey, if I end up with a bamboo at some point, I'll be back and help out. But I'm sinking a lot of time into something that is making somebody else money. Now, I got kicked a few dollars a couple times for helping out in the community and stuff, because it's a paid community. But at a certain point, I just had to be like, this isn't working out for me, and just kind of take a step back from it. All right, let's shove this in here. I love that fits kind of tight. There we go. And that'll hold that wire down. That'll hold that wire down in there. We're still working on our PID tuning. I would love to have a bamboo. I would, printing multicolor stuff. I got a multicolor print that's a 3-day print. I tried to start it on that. Tried it with the box turtle, and it faulted out after like 2 hours. Thank God it did it then and not like after, you know, 2.5 days. But that was enough for me to say I'm done with this tool head board and order the new Big Tree Tech one. Because regardless of how you feel about Big Tree Tech, I've never had an issue with any of their products. And yeah, I trust that their tool head board is going to work better than the Physec one. But I would like a printer just to put over here underneath this workbench that does multicolor. and just works. It's just a tool. I don't ever tinker with it. It just prints parts for all my other projects. Be that a bamboo, a Prusa. I guess with a Prusa I'd have to get one of their MMU 3s. But I hear that they've got that dialed in pretty good. I've not reached out to Creality. I've reached out to Bamboo. I've reached out to Prusa. I haven't heard anything back from either one of them. What printer did I put the hardened nozzle in? Did I put it? Sorry, chasing a squirrel. Yeah, I did. This has a hardened nozzle in it. I forgot about that. I need a hardened Revo nozzle for the switch wire. Yeah, I need to reach out to Anycubic. I've not reached out to Elegoo either. I don't know. I don't know that anybody'd want to sponsor a printer anyway. Oh yeah, a lot of people are mad, but in fairness, they bought something that hoping that something would eventually exist for it. Don't buy something for what product is promised to be. Buy it for what it is today. This bed calibration is taking forever. I think we've come up to temp twice, and I think it has to do it 5 times. Yep. Yeah, for $280, it's probably a fantastic deal. I know a couple people personally that have them and have said nothing but good things about them. So I am sure they are great printers, especially for the price. I have no experience with them, so I'm not telling anybody to go buy one. And if I had $300 and wasn't looking for a multicolor solution, I would probably go grab one. Vince, how's it going? If I had the money, I would really like to get one of the bamboos that are on sale. Either an A1 with the AMS light or the P1S with the AMS combo that they've got like pre-Black Friday sales on or whatever. So if anybody has an extra like $600 floating around and they want to make a donation, there's a link in the description. You can leave a tip. I'm speaking directly to you, Elon. I know you're watching. Mr. Bezos. You don't even have to like send me the money. You probably have them listed on Amazon. Yeah, I think it's a steal at $5.50 or whatever it is. I would, if I had the money, I would absolutely jump on that right now. It would be a hell of a tip, wouldn't it? I think if you wanted tips like that, you'd have to be streaming on a different platform with less clothes. I have no idea if you can get one on Facebook Marketplace. The things I look for on Facebook Marketplace are totally different. Right now, I've been cruising at Facebook Marketplace every once in a while. Probably like once a week or so. Trying to find a drill press. Only prints. That's right. What is the sticker that I have? I have a sticker somewhere. It's something like OnlyFans thing. What is it? Oh, I forgot about that sticker. I got a sticker. It says danger, non-lickable surface. I thought that one was hilarious. Oh, it's only blue collar. That's what the sticker says. There's a John Deere tractor running in front of my house. All right, what else can I do while we wait? We got more stuff to clean up shortly. All right. We've got mouse switches that need to go back. Some Crest Scope mouth spray stuff. Keep my breath minty fresh. Main menu, AFC, eject filament. All right. So, question everybody, what do you want to see on tomorrow's stream? Would you rather do the enclosure on the switch wire, or would you rather do the dragon burner on the Micron? What do you want to see? Let's start a poll. Start a poll. Tomorrow stream. Dragon burner on Micron. Panels on switchwire. All right, there we go. Yeah, both the P1S with AMS and the 85X. It's just as good. The issue with the 85X is it's not enclosed. So between the two, I would go with the P1S over the 85X just because it's enclosed. And it's got a longer track record for it. So I kind of know what to expect long term more with it. It's like Dragon Burner is definitely winning. Later, Martin. All right, so tomorrow will be the Dragon Burner on the Micron. Where's the controller jumpers? There they are. I got a couple drawers I need to label up here. Let's see. Oh, still calibrating the bed. Let's get the label maker out. Font, size, large. Okay, we need lipo. Then we need, what is in this drawer? Can that go anywhere else? Yeah, that can go in the headphone parts, I think. Oh, no. This isn't that. This is power converter. PSU stuff. And then we've got a sewing machine. Do I need labels for any other bins? Yep, I do. Half darts. All right, print. You got an enclosure kit for $39 off Amazon Prime. There's a enclosure specifically for the 85X, or is it like one of those grow tent things? You've had good luck with the K1s? Yeah. I hear very little about them. I know a lot of people have them, so I'm assuming that they're just working. Otherwise, you know, when something is just working for somebody, they normally don't say much about it. It's when shit doesn't work that you start hearing about it. JPP, drop a link to that. I'd like to see it. I wouldn't have a problem with owning one. I'm just saying at that point, for my money, what I would do. I'm not telling anybody else what they should do. Hi, camera, you want to work? You want to do something today? Do something. All right. And then lipo. Pulling the little lipo batteries out of disposable vapes that people give me. Because I'm sure we can use them for projects. Oh, look at that. Save config. It finally finished PID tuning the bed. How much is the 85X? I thought it was like 400 and some dollars. $369. Okay, that makes more sense. Oh, that's not bad looking. I like it. All right, Voron docs. So let's PID tune or hot end. Copy. Oh, it's 280 on AliExpress right now? Okay. I'm not ordering it for my concern right now with ordering anything from AliExpress, and you guys tell me, because I haven't ordered anything from AliExpress in a year. I used to order from them all the time. My concern is that I'll order something and then get a bill in the mail for fucking customs fees or some bullshit. All right, Luke. I think I could turn my heater off out here too. This shouldn't take nearly as long. Oh yeah, Lord, that heats up quick. Look at that, look at that. This is that Fadus Conch hot end that comes with the Jabberwocky kit. Well, maybe, holy cow, look at that. I thought it just heated up once, but no, it in fact had done the PID loop tuning in like 30 seconds. That's freaking impressive. That's impressive. Okay, so we've got PIDs calibrated. What else does the Voron doc say? Initial setup. Scan. Finish line. Shouldn't have to mess with that. Slicer setup. We do need to create a slicer profile for this thing. So, let's make a slicer profile. Let's launch Orca Slicer. One moment, please. Let's see what other kind of trouble my daughter got into today. All right. We only have a minute here because I've got to go to take my daughter to a thing. But we're going to use this switch wire profile. And we're going to change the save as B switch. Until we come up with a better name for it. Now we need to change this though, because we don't need the MMU check. We don't need any of this. And I don't need MMU end. And I don't need that. Filament change is just going to be Paul's. Okay. And then we're going to save. And then we're going to go over here to black sales. I got no layer change stuff. Okay, so that's fine. And there we go. I can change it to not be multi-material. Motion ability. So this has a higher flow rate. It's going to be similar to this. What are you guys getting for flow out of a Fadus conch? It is conch. Flow rate, 35 millimeters cubed. Interesting. $35 divided by pi times the radius, 1.75 divided by 2. It's going to be 0.75. 1 point times 1.75 divided by 2 squared equals yeah, so we're good with 11. This is like 8 something. We'll have to figure out what the printable height is. And all that stuff later. But right now, I've got to go. I got to take my daughter to an appointment. The Flash Forge 85X is a pretty decent machine. How are you liking it so far, JPP? So what I do, Howie, is if you go into your printer and you go to your extruder, your motion ability, and you set your maximum speed for your extruder so that, you know, volume is height times pi r squared, right? So at 11 times pi times 1.75 divided by 2 squared equals, that's 26, right? So if I take, that's 26 millimeters cubed, 26.45 millimeters cubed per second is the max it'll let this thing push out, right? And I know it says 35, but I don't trust that. So I could go a little bit higher. Let's say you did 15 times pi times 1.75 divided by 2 squared. That would get you 36. So like 14 is the limit. So we'll put it at 14, right? And what that enables me to do is if I go over here to my ABS profile and I look at the max volumetric speed is set for 36, right? But if I use this profile and I slice it for the switch wire or for the V0 or a printer that can't actually hit 36 millimeters cubed a second, what's going to slow it down and limit it is the fact that the printer's profile says can't exceed this speed for the extruder. So you're going to limit your volumetric flow per printer, even though the volumetric speed for the filament profile might be higher. That's what enables me to use the same profiles across everything, is because I go and set machine limits to reflect reality, and then let the filament profile be whatever. And then the same way I do for like nozzles, so I can use this profile on a 0.4 nozzle or on a 0.6 nozzle, because my line widths are done in percentages based on the nozzle diameter versus the actual thing. So if I set this to 0.4 for outer walls, that'll only be usable on a 0.4 nozzle. But if I set it to 100% and I slice it for a 0.6, instead of doing at 0.4 extrusion, it's going to do 0.6, just because it's set to percentages rather than a hard, this is how large of an extrusion I want in millimeters. So I spend a lot of time making stuff so that I can minimize the amount of stuff that I have. I build all my printer profiles off of all Voron stuff. So even like my Prusa is built off of a Voron switch wire profile, so that I can still use all of my process profiles and my filament profiles on that printer. And I don't have to rebuild profiles over and over again for different machines. But anyway, like I said, I've got to run. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. If you'd like to support the channel, there's links in the description for Polymaker affiliate link. Just, if you remember, I'm terrible about it myself. When you go to place your Polymaker order, just come click on that Polymaker affiliate link, then order your filament. It doesn't cost you anything more. Polymaker just gives me a slice of it. If you're not using mine, use whoever your favorite creators is. Just try to remember to use somebody's, make it a habit or whatever. Save it as a bookmark. I don't know. And then there's also, you can consider becoming a channel member. Like I said, right now in the members only channel on Discord, there's the thumbnail for the upcoming celebration stream with some spoilers on who's sponsoring said stream, so you might get some sort of idea of some of the giveaways that might be going on during that stream. And like I said, if nothing else, subscribe at least, because that stream's coming up on November 22nd. It's going to be a great time. Going to have some cool stuff to give away. But yeah, there's links down there for Patreon, tips, all that sort of stuff if you want to support the channel. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you back here tomorrow with the Dragon Burner on the Micron, because that's what won. All right, later.